What is up? And welcome back to another Park Rovers Live. My name is Andrew, and I am joined tonight by all of the other Park Rovers. We got Eric, Dustin, Greg, and Creech. How y'all doing?
Great.
Excellent.
Living the dream.
Y'all ready to count down our top 10 coasters?
Absolutely. I'm really proud of us for sticking to this. This was, we said we were doing it. We're here. It's a big accomplishment.
It is a huge accomplishment, and it's such a big accomplishment. We decided to break this up into two separate live streams. So tonight we're going to count down 10 to 6, and then we'll come back at some point, hopefully in March. We'll continue the March Madness, and we'll do the rest. But all the 10 coasters, these are a surprise to everyone except for me, because I assembled the countdown. Greg, I think I'm getting some feedback from you. I'm gonna mute you for a second.
I gotta put my headphones in. Forgot.
Oh yeah, that'll be good. All right, cool. All right. So tonight we are going to go through the zero coasters, and we'll count down 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. And I think you're gonna like what we have in store, or you guys will at least. So I think we'll start with our zeros. So these are I had to look up like the definition of zero. I knew what my zero coaster was, but I'm like, sentimental or guilty pleasure. I kind of like that.
Mm-hmm. Now I did put 2. Is that okay?
Okay. So it's all right.
I allowed it.
0.1 and 0.2.
Right.
Creech, you want to say a few words about your selection?
Yeah, so Great American Scream Machine at Six Flags Over Georgia for me. I've got 2 reasons as to why. First reason, this was the first real roller coaster memory I have, and it was going up the lift hill and my older brother telling me that it actually goes underwater and being absolutely terrified. So shout out to him for that. And then number 2 was, I don't remember how old I was. I was like 12 or 13. I did a coaster-thon at Six Flags Over Georgia. Rode 86 laps, got off, got sick, was crying because I wasn't going to win a free season pass. Asked if I could get back on, and they said, the train hasn't left, so you're good. Got back on, and then after 103 laps, I was forcibly removed because of how sick I looked, and was crying about not having a season pass. Ended up they still gave it to everyone because of my dedication, and then ended up getting on for the last 5 laps and doing 108 laps on that thing. So yeah,
Wow.
That's my zero.
Whoa.
That's insanely impressive.
Yeah.
Right. Especially that coaster, because that's like in my bottom 10.
Well, it's nice because it used to have the 3 rows per car.
Right.
And I don't know who, but some dude who was like, I've done plenty of coaster thons. This is what you got to do. You got to switch right side and left side every 10 laps. And then he taught me the difference between a wheel seat and not a wheel seat. Sitting in that middle row.
That's more important, I think.
It's my number 301.
All right. So I have 2, and they kind of mesh together. So my first trip to Cedar Point was in 1994. I was like 9. Oh, come on. And then my second trip was in 1999. And that was when I rode Magnum for the first time. And that was the one that like got me hooked on the coasters. And then they announced Millennium Force right around that time. So Millennium Force was then the one that I first got to like watch be built. So between those 2 together, at the park that I grew up going to, that those were my zero coasters.
All right. So my 2 were starting with Jackrabbit. So I grew up in Pittsburgh, and my dad took me on Jackrabbit whenever I was very young. I honestly don't remember how young I was, but I remember being small enough that, sort of similar to Creech, he was really hammering it into my head that there was a chance I was going to fly out of the car whenever we went over the hills. He, loved my father. That was a choice. So I was terrified. I was like on the verge of tears the whole time. And then we had a great time and I loved it. And so Jackrabbit was really like my first real roller coaster that I ever rode. So that's very high on like my memories list. And then Verbolten, just because I was never really a huge devoted theme park fan until we moved down. My wife and I moved down to Virginia about 8 years ago, and going to Busch Gardens, this was literally, we were just looking for something to do, and we were like, oh, let's go to Busch Gardens, it's nearby. Verbolten was the first ride that we did, and I just remember getting off of it, because obviously there's so many fun tricks to Verbolten, where I just remember getting off of it and having this feeling, this like special feeling. And within a week of getting home from that trip, we were season pass members, and the depths to which I have fallen into this hobby and into this passion since that moment are probably certifiably insane. So it's pretty much all owed to Verbolten. So I have, the fond, that's the one where my head tells me all these other coasters, but Verbolten is the one where my heart is. That's where this modern version of all of this started. So that's where it is. And that picture, it's the first thing I ever wrote for Park Rovers. I did the behind the scenes tour at Busch Gardens. It is like 65. Anyone watching this, it is like $65. You go to the park 2 hours early. They give you behind the scenes. That's inside of the show building, which once they do what they say they're going to do to that Verbolten show building, this is going to be even better. And you get to go into all the show buildings, all of the maintenance bays, and then you get to ride every ride, skip the line twice. It is the best deal that exists. I would recommend it to anyone going to Busch Gardens for the first time or for the 100th time. Do it.
I have yet to do that. I
Yeah.
have a kind of a similar story with Rock and Roller Coaster, how it kind of got me into this obsession or hobby as an adult. So I've ridden many roller coasters, but I was probably always a little scared. And then I rode Rock and Roller Coaster, which of course goes upside down. But I realized, oh, that's not a big deal. And what's funny is I realized, I think through a Jim Scholl video, that the entrance there, the car is upside down to give the guest a cue that you're going to go upside down, like right away. So if any parents or kids are scared, they have to get over that fear right away, right as you cross under that. And I know that car has already been repainted for Muppets, and I'm looking forward to the re-theme, but my expectations are pretty low for that. I hope, just due to the timeline, I hope they can do something really cool with the Muppets. Obviously, I love the Muppets, but yeah, that's my zero coaster. Greg, did you have one? I didn't get a submission from you.
I think I passed out after doing the 10 and completely forgot about the 0. Because I was doing those at like 1 a.m. But I could come up with. I definitely know one at Six Flags Great America, the Demon.
Yeah.
Which is just basically your standard aero coaster. But that was either the first or second roller coaster I'd ever been on, and I didn't know it was going upside down. So yeah, you've got your 4 instances of upside downness, and I just after I got off of it, I was like, well, I had no idea I was going upside down. I thought that would be. And I thought that would be a terrifying experience, but in like first grade or whenever that was, is like, you just want to keep doing it over and over again.
Yeah, awesome.
My second, the second one would be Iron Dragon at Cedar Point. The first time I went there, I think maybe 1990. It was when Cedar Point was not, there wasn't tons of coasters there. I think there was maybe 6 or 7, but Iron Dragon was the only thing I could get on. I thought it was amazing just because you're underneath the track. And mostly I liked, the part I really liked was the logo. The dragon logo on all the cars was super cool to me. And I just fell in love with it because of that.
I loved Iron Dragon when I rode it. I did it for the first time this summer.
Yeah.
I worked Iron Dragon, so I have an affinity for it.
Yeah.
Nice. We did have a Zero coaster from a listener right now. Conklin shows doppel looping.
What?
Oh.
Seems like a wild choice, but I respect it.
That feels like one of those ones that would pop up on one of those geo-guessing videos that you'd be like, that's not real.
All right. So that's just to get us started. That is our Zero coasters, and I think now I'm liking the fact I split this up into 2, since we're gonna go 10 down to 6, and you guys will see how I did this. It's gonna be fun. There's 2 people on each slide.
Oh Lord.
We'll start with Creech.
Classic for context, that picture was taken at Hollywood Studios, right under the AT-AT. So, but yeah, so my top 10, number 10 is going to be Ride to Happiness at Plopsaland de Pan in Belgium. I truly think that this is the most insane roller coaster ever. It feels like taking the Time Traveler spinning cars, even though I haven't ridden Time Traveler, and putting them on Stardust. Having now done Stardust Racers and actually originally trying to compare and be like, oh, it's similar to Maverick but spinning. I definitely think it's Stardust but spinning, and it's just the most intense ride ever. Which it's a little too intense for me, which is why it ranks kind of lower in my top 10. But it's something that is so unique, I don't think will ever leave my top 10.
Nice. Greg, what do you have to say about the legend? I'm actually going to Holiday World for the first time this upcoming summer, so I'm excited to ride this finally.
I felt like I had to include something from Holiday World. I love all 3 of their wood coasters. The Legend, this was the second time I went there this past summer. And from my memory from the last time, I thought it was, I didn't like it. I thought it was boring. But then this time when I went, I love the Voyage, but that's a little too long for me. It's like intense for super, just, for almost the same length, I think, or a little bit less than the Beast. And then Raven is just super rough. And Legend is like, it's just the mid level between both of those. Super intense, lots of lateral forces. And then this time when I went, I rode it at night. I think I rode 3 times at night. It is just super amazing. Just dropping the initial drop just into darkness. You can't see, like, there's no light. You don't see anything the whole time. Yeah, it's just absolute craziness in the dark.
Nice. All right, let's move on. I cut myself out of the photo here, but I put you all both. I put Dustin and Eric on the same slide because I could use the same photo.
That's good.
So I kind of cheated. So Dustin, you had your number 10.
Yep, Siren's Curse. I was fortunate enough to make it back to Cedar Point this year after a couple years of not going there. And while Top Thrill 2 was fun, my expectations were so much higher for Siren's Curse, and it still honestly exceeded them because like we've seen that tilt track thing forever, and I'm like, oh, this thing's going to be so cool. And I thought it would just be a pretty standard ride after that, and it wasn't. Like, the tilt, especially in the back, is awesome. And then that layout that whatever Vecoma's doing now is absolutely incredible. There's airtime, there's forces, there's like it's not the longest ride in the world, but what it does so well. And that's how it snuck into my top 10.
And yeah, I picked Wildcats Revenge at Hershey Park. So the picture that I shared there is with one of my best friends, Andy, who grew up in Lancaster. So grew up going to Hershey Park with his father. And we've kind of made it a summer tradition. We've gone now, I think 4 years in a row to Hershey Park in the summer. And so we went the last year that Wildcat was open. And in his little child brain, Wildcat was his favorite ride that he used to do with his father. So we rope dropped it on the last year of its operations. I had never been to Hershey Park, so I was just going. He's in charge of the day. Let's go where he wants to go. Anyone who knows what state Wildcat was in its final years, it was not a good time. His nostalgia carried us through 3 re-rides in a row to start the day. 3 rides on Wildcat, back to back to back, going through. And my entire day was ruined. I couldn't ride anything else. My back was completely shot. I forced my way through Candemonium just because I needed to do it. Really hard day. So the next year we went back, and this beautiful new coaster was sitting there waiting for us to ride. And it is just such a full total package, especially considering how compact it seems to be. When you look at it from a distance, it doesn't look like this large, impressive, looming structure, but it does so much with what it has. I love a ride that gives you a couple elements right before the lift hill, which it does that. It sort of reminds me of a mini Iron Gwazi. It gave me the same sort of feelings that I had with Iron Gwazi, just in sort of a more compact layout. Very chaotic, very fun. Love that ride.
Nice. It's mine. My photo's in front of the Wienermobile. I went with Phoenix. I had to put it in. I had to slot it in here somewhere. I know it gets a lot of hate for being the top ranked wooden coaster, but from the Golden Ticket Award specifically. But it's just so much fun. I will admit I like Steel more than Woody's. I do appreciate like a bumpy ride like the Beast, but it's really not for me. And the Phoenix just like is just like so much fun. You're out of your seat for more times than I can count, especially for a wooden coaster. Just very smooth out and back layout. It's just beautiful. So it had to make my top 10. So I slotted it in at 10. All right. So that leaves us here. It's a quick recap. We'll do this after each one. So this slide's kind of boring. We'll keep going. Down to number 9. I feel like we need music or like
play the Beatles, number 9.
That'd be good. All right, Creech, you're up.
All right, so number 9 for me is going to be Hagrid's Magical Creatures Motorbike Adventure. If you've ridden this, you know that it's just a complete package of a coaster, from the theming to the actual ride itself, but just having forces, so many different launches and different elements, just a very well and complete ride. It's one of few perfect coasters, I would say, where I would not change a single thing on it. So yeah, if you have not been to Islands of Adventure to ride it, you have to. It's so good.
I have a feeling this won't be the only time we talk about that coaster. Greg, you had a similar pick to mine.
I do have to say, since I'm seeing my photo again, I have to compliment you on the use of that photo.
It's doing the perfect job for what it needs to do.
Yeah, it's perfect. Yeah, I kind of the same as you. I love all the airtime on Phoenix, and I remember the first time I rode it, I'd read about all the airtime, but I really still didn't know what to expect, and I didn't know there were no seat belts. It's just the fact that you have the bar above you, and that's it. You're just flying around the whole ride. it blew my mind after the first time riding it. Yeah, it's just an airtime machine. It's amazing. Even though it doesn't look like much, it's very surprising.
Yeah, agreed. And I think I had it lower in my top 25 that we did on parkrovers.com a couple years ago? Anyway, I revisited.
That was last year.
Was it last year? Wow.
Yeah, it was just last year.
Was that? Oh my god.
Well, anyway, I think I revisited Knoebel since then, and it just blew my mind again. So I had to bring it up further in my ranking. All right, Dustin.
All right. So B&M, Hyper, Giga, Megas, whatever you want to call them, are like probably my favorite overall type of roller coaster. Maybe save for one model, but Goliath at Over Georgia was the one that definitely surprised me the most. That second drop being longer than the first, actually having some intensity in the helix kind of outside the park. And then where it beats Nitro is just that return run is just the most perfectly timed and like executed bunny hops. Like you are just flying out of your seat like 6 or 7 times. So, you know.
Greg did a 6 or 7 earlier, and I, as a middle school teacher, I really had to like take a moment to be like, you're not in the classroom. No one's going to yell it out. You're fine.
I have to get back to Six Flags Over Georgia I was there for the media event last year for Gold Rusher, and nothing else was open, so I couldn't.
I've only been once. It was a great day, and that's a phenomenal coaster.
Nice. Eric.
So I realize that Pantheon is not on most people's top 10s. It's not most coaster enthusiasts top of the list type of ride, but it is my favorite ride at my favorite park. So that definitely gives it some distance in my ranking. I have 2 thoughts about Pantheon that if it was this way, I think things would be very different with the way people viewed it. I think the most obvious one is if it had theming the way that it was intended to. I think that if this ride had theming, it would be way higher on people's lists. I think if it had one more element, one more signature element to it, I think it would be way higher on people's lists. It's like right there. It's so close to being in that elite tier. It just needs 1 or 2 more things. I love this ride. It's my favorite one to do whenever I go to Busch Gardens, and I will defend that the backwards Bunny Hill launch is probably a Mount Rushmore level element on a coaster. It doesn't get much better than that. And those modern Intamin coaster trains are so comfortable, and I do think that comfort has a big thing to do with re-rideability. And it's the reason why I have a few RMCs on my top 10, but I can't do them more than once or twice because they physically beat you up a little bit. Pantheon, you could do 15, 20 times in a row and feel totally fine. It's so comfortable. It handles you in the perfect way where you can just get off, get right back on, and you're good to go. So I know it's not a favorite pick for a lot of people, but it holds a special place in my heart, and I love that ride.
I can't counter that sentiment. So we'll just move on. Number 9, I had Airy Force One. If you haven't been down to Fun Spot America Atlanta, you need to go ride this. It ranks so high on my list because there's usually like 0 wait, so you can basically marathon this all day, and it just is incredible that they were able to build this. And there's that bit of theming in the queue. my one complaint is it is painful for me as a tall guy with the quad down, that it's just, I have to brace for that. But the fact that you can just enter this park, and ride this all day, it's unbeatable. And, when I think about going to Atlanta, no offense to Six Flags Over Georgia, but my first gut is to just go down to Fun Spot America, Atlanta, and just ride this. Like I'd rather, that just seems like the most fun I could have in the Atlanta area. So number 9.
Were you the only one on it when you rode it?
Oh, I don't think so. There's been that some people have had that experience though.
When I went there this summer, I had a train to myself.
Oh, that's beautiful. Yeah, I need to get back down there soon. Yeah, so the current rankings, Phoenix is at the top since it got a number 9 and a number 10. And then everything else has floated to the bottom. But so far, we got Phoenix and then all of our number 9s. All right, let's go to number 8. Starting with Creech.
So number 8 for me is going to be Sky Rush at Hershey Park. My first ride on Sky Rush would not agree with this because I thought it was way too much and one of the most painful rides I'd ever had. My second ride was in the front row, which I thought was phenomenally better than riding in the back. Third and fourth rides were somewhere in the middle and then the back left, whatever seat everyone says to ride.
Back left.
I think
yes.
once I knew the layout of the ride, thank you. Once I knew the layout of the ride, it was a lot more enjoyable because I could brace myself for whatever was happening. And yeah, so great. That's where it lands from.
I don't think I've ever been gravity stapled harder than on Sky Rush.
Yeah.
The just every time you go over a bump and it just goes like.
The station theming is also really cool.
I haven't ridden it with the new restraints, but surprisingly, I didn't mind the forced stapling on it, which is crazy to me. But yeah.
Yeah, I love the ride. That wasn't a disparity to the ride. That was just an anecdote.
All right, Greg.
See, this is my my only photo I had of Pantheon from when I went last summer. But this is actually a photo of, we had ERT at night, either from 9 to 10 or 10 to 11. But at that point, we had to pause the rides on Pantheon because they were bringing the Clydesdales back to their stables, wherever they are for at night. They're bringing them from in the park to their stables. So they couldn't run Pantheon during that 10-minute period where they're walking them past the coaster. So at that point, we were just up in the station watching the horses go by and having the ride paused, which was really strange. But yeah, unfortunately, that's my only photo of Pantheon.
That's a good one.
Yeah. Yeah, I found this ride absolutely amazing. I don't feel like it. I know Eric was saying earlier, it needs another element, but I don't know what else could you add. I was amazed by it. I thought it was awesome, especially hitting the backwards on the two bunny hills. You feel them in the beginning, they're there because you go forwards over them, but when you fly backwards over them, it just shocks the hell out of you. It's just an unbelievable feeling. And then when you rip back through it and go over the what's that front part called? After the bunny, the hill in the front.
The top hat.
Yeah, the top hat. There you go. Dropping over that top hat, just when you rip into the rest of the course, absolutely amazing. You're just tearing through it the whole way.
The view of the James River from the top of that top hat is incredible. It's such an amazing view.
Yeah.
And then always the flash, the camera flash, I would forget about it every time. The flash just kind of like it just adds something to the ride. Just surprising every time.
Nice. By the way, I really like this photo of Creech because he's like looking at your photo.
Yeah, it's perfect.
I kind of took it that way, that he was judging everything that Greg picked.
It's a very judgy face too. Yeah.
All right, Dustin.
All right, I'm with you, Greg. Or no, I'm sorry, I'm with you, Creech. Sky Rush number 8 is like I have it. It is absolutely one of the most intense roller coaster experiences out there. The back row, left side, 8-1 or whatever. We call it the heaven seat. I have to literally fight with my oldest now when we go to like jockey for that spot, because that is just however it hits everything the best way. Hot take, I liked the older restraints more than the newer restraints. That actually ended up knocking this down a couple notches in my top 10. It's just I feel like it takes away just a hair of the intensity. And it's a little less bonkers. It's still a phenomenal ride though.
And my number 8 is Hyperia at Thorpe Park, right outside of London. It's an incredible ride. It has my favorite first drop that I've ever experienced. It's a 90-degree drop, and about halfway down, it does a 180 turn. And I wrote some little notes down. I just jotted some things down. And the note I jotted down is the lap bars are doing so much work. And that is, for this ride, I mean, that is just what it's all about. The lap bars you have to put a lot of faith in the lap bars on Hyperia, because the entire ride is airtime. You are out of your seat. It feels like for half of the ride, you're out of your seat. It's so intense, so fun. The elements in what you do in the first 30 seconds are top 5 worthy. The only downside is that it's really short. And like if you look at this picture in the middle here, that's the whole layout. That's it. That's the entire ride. So you do, 5-6 maneuvers, and then you're turning around and going into the brake run. So that's it. The first time I rode it, I thought we were hitting a mid-course brake, and we're about to turn and go into the station brake. So it's an incredible ride, and what it does better than probably any other coaster I've ever been on, but it's about 40 seconds of actual ride time, and it just needs, I mean, I said Pantheon needs more, and that would be like a luxury because it already has so much. This ride actually really needs another element or two, and it would be pushed. I think all of this should go without saying, but these are my top 10 rides. I love them. The critiques are to make something even better. But yeah, it really needs another element or two to put it into that top tier.
I've never seen its entrance sign. I like how you look like you have wings.
Yeah.
That's quite fun.
It's the least, it is the least themed ride at Thorpe Park, which is crazy because it's the newest one, but I think they were just like, it's good. It doesn't need any theming. It's just a really great coaster. All the other ones are actually themed very well. That's the only one that really doesn't have much going for it.
They saw what Busch Gardens did with Pantheon. They're like, we can do that.
Yeah. So if the coaster's good enough, why not?
Exactly.
Love it. Moving on. I had Millennium Force. So the first time I didn't get to ride this for the first time until like a few years ago with Buzz Bars. But I am at the max rider height for Millennium Force. So what I had to do, but I didn't know that. So I walked up with my sneakers on, and then I had to go all the way back to the hotel, switch and get my little like sandals that were razor thin. to be able to ride this. But once I did, obviously phenomenal views and speed on this coaster. I only got to ride once, so it's a little bit of a blur. I was reading about, by the way, fun fact, there used to be a DJ booth. Is this right, Dustin? There was a
Yes.
DJ booth? That
Yes,
is awesome.
There was a DJ booth in the line spinning the hits of the early 2000s.
Oh, I love that. I have the feeling this won't be the only time we talk about Millennium Force, so I'm going to leave it at that.
It was in my top 10 for a very, very, very long time. It really just recently fell out, but it's still an amazing ride.
Yeah, I mean, it's mainly ranked so high for me just because of the views, and it goes on like an island, if I recall. Like it's just like an incredible layout and incredible views from this coaster. So
yeah, it's a great ride.
Yeah. All right, here's where we're at. Skyrush is at the top, followed by Pantheon. Yeah, we'll see how this plays out at the end of the evening. Go on to number 7, Creech.
So, Velocicoaster at Islands of Adventure is gonna be my number 7. First ride on this back in 2022. Instantly my number 1. The theming, the ride itself, everything about it is truly just top tier. The only reason it started slowly getting its way down is just simply because I cannot handle the intensity as much as I used to be able to. Other than that, I have zero complaints about this ride. The first half is phenomenal, just lots of interactives with like the man-made terrain and like within the paddock. And then you get to the second launch and it just kicks it in. You go over the top hat, everything around the bridge, and then ending with the most force roll. It's just a full and complete ride.
Agreed. I think that this won't be the only time this coaster's on our countdown either. Greg, Superman. I can't ride this one, by the way. I'm too tall for this.
I messed up on this.
Oh, you did?
Well, no, just on the name. I think it's not Superman anymore. I think it's just Ride of Steel.
Oh.
I think they took
because that was from Six Flags America.
Yeah.
I'll update this for next time. Yeah.
Creech sees your mistake and he's judging it.
Yeah, he's still judging me.
Very judging.
I think this is intimate. This just felt like very close to being like a junior Millennium Force, like very, very similar to it, the way it feels. I know I knew before that it was, I'm pretty sure it's intimate, and I didn't look it up, so that's
yes, it is.
Okay. Yeah, it's just pure speed the whole way through. There's a long stretch where you're riding right along the ground. At the time, it was flooded in the area, so you're not always riding above water, like 5 feet above the water. But when I rode it, the 3 times I rode it, you're along the ground, but riding right along a I don't know how many days the pond was existed, but
there is actually a pond. There is a pond always. Yeah.
Oh, okay. But yeah, I love this ride. It just feels great. It's amazing. It's like it's a hidden gem at Darien Lake. I think I never heard anyone really talk about it before I'd been there. I never hear anything about it. I don't think anybody's really. I don't know. Is anybody here?
We're breaking some news right here.
Yeah.
Get to Darien Lake.
Hidden gem. Get to Darien Lake now.
I did it this summer. It was fantastic. I mean, I don't know what your experience was like. I would say people definitely need to go in there understanding that the ride ops at Darien Lake are not great.
Oh, see, especially for this ride, I got on. I think I did like 3 rides in maybe 10 to 15 minutes.
I had a station wait and I waited 40 minutes.
Wow.
Yeah, not great. Single train, about 6 minutes dispatches. It was rough.
Yeah, that
amazing ride.
That was like just added to the reason why I liked it so much. I was circling through.
Well, they should actually get better ops because I assume they're going to get the trains from Six Flags America.
America, yeah.
That's assuming they got the one off the lift still.
Yeah.
Which
Some say it's still sitting there.
What are you doing with it?
All right.
Creech is judging that too.
All right, Dustin.
A couple of RMCs here. Yeah, number 7, Twisted Timbers was my second RMC. And it was the closest one to me for the longest time. And when I tell you that this coaster and the airtime, especially after the barrel roll drop, you've got those 3 absolutely insane camelback hills. And then, it's almost like a mini Steel Vengeance. I'm kind of glad these two are on the same slide, because it does a little bit of that weave in and out of the structure, and the inversions are really good, especially like during the course. The only thing that knocks this down just a little bit for me is I don't love that barrel roll drop. I like a nice, beautiful, like floating airtime, like whip me over the edge of that drop, and this just doesn't have that. Aside from that, it's flawless.
Yeah, I said Steel Vengeance. Rode it for the first time this summer, and my last 2 picks, Pantheon and Hyperia, I talked about how maybe they could use another element or 2. Steel Vengeance doesn't need anything else. It is so long. It just the first time I rode it, it's always the first time you do it, it's always the best because you never know what's coming next. And I was like, there's more, constantly thinking it's got to be over soon. And it just kept going and going. A lot of RMCs do just like you were saying, Dustin, do the bobbing and weaving through the track supports. None are better than this. This is the best version of the going through the track supports on an RMC. And the only thing that knocked any points off of it from another RMC that might show up on my list later is I don't even know if there's a break, but there's a straight track portion about halfway through that every time I did it 3 times the day that I went, and every time I did it, it kind of knocked me out of it a little bit. There was just like this little straight track portion. It's elevated, and it's right before you dive down and start going through all the supports. And it felt like there was a break. I don't know if there was, but it sort of took the momentum out of it a little bit for me. And that was the only thing that like put another RMC that I had above that one. But other than that, I mean, it's a near perfect ride.
Yeah, sometimes that break hits, sometimes it doesn't, but
yeah,
for sure.
Yeah.
Nice. I forgot my own ranking here.
There too. Just
look at that picture.
This will make the Park Rovers all-time highlight reel. Yeah. All right, get it together. All right, Fury. What do I got to talk about? Fury. One of my home parks, Carowinds. I'll be there tomorrow night and Saturday, and I'll probably ride this. I probably have it lower than a few of you. For you of y'all, some people rank this as their top. I think I'm partially spoiled, but obviously it's 7 is it's pretty high up still. It's obviously the right when you enter Carowinds, it's the defining coaster that goes under the walkway. You can see it goes overhead. I'd say the most popular knock against it, which I can't disagree with, is it doesn't really have those views that you can get on like Millennium Force or Pantheon or probably a lot of other coasters, because you're kind of just going, there's not a whole lot to see other than the Charlotte skyline when you're on the top of the lift hill. That's pretty cool.
It is a pretty skyline though, too.
Yeah. So obviously 325 feet. It's fast, fun, smooth. Really no complaints. You can just marathon this as much as you want. So it's always going to probably rank high for me. Nice. All right, here's where we're at. I think I did this right. I'll have to check and I'll correct the names of Ride of Steel. So all the 7s bumped up to the top, followed by Sky Rush and Pantheon. Cool. All right, we're at 6. So this is the last one we're doing tonight, and then we'll resume in the future. So yeah, we're 15 minutes in. So I'm glad we split this up. All right, Creech, you're up.
Last one tonight, number 6 for me is going to be Mako at SeaWorld Orlando. I believe it was Dustin, you had Goliath on
I
Six
did,
Flags
yes.
Over Georgia.
Yep.
Just those B&M hyper coasters. The clamshell is such a perfect restraint. Even if you're stapled, you can still feel comfortable. Plenty of airtime you can still get. But the hard thing I've been considering over the last year is Mako above Velocicoaster for me? And truly, the thing that I rank this better on just when I get off is which one did I have more fun? And I can't get off Mako and not be just happy. Like, wow, that was awesome. I want to go again. Velocicoaster just is too intense for me now that I get off and I'm just like, that was fun. That was great. But I can't get right back in line right now. I need to take a break. So Mako just edges it out for me within those two, and just awesome floater airtime. So much fun.
Nice. Greg?
Millennium Force is just, I just feel it's definitely so re-rideable. You're right. If I ride it twice, I can get right back in line, get back on it again. I was going to say it's my original Giga, but it's the original Giga. It's just, if it was brand new now, it could be a brand new roller coaster now. Like it could just, it could be a modern coaster, 25 years old, and it's better than a lot of other coasters that are new. It's absolutely amazing. 25 or 26 years later. I just love, the view, definitely. But just the sheer speed ripping through the whole course, and that's basically all it is, just speed all the way through. And again, the reviewability, you could get back on it over and over and over again. I'd never get tired of it. I think also my ranking is due to the fact that I've been on it so many times. Some other rides, I don't remember as well because I've only been on them once or twice. But then, there are some that I've ridden once and I are in my top 5. But I've been on this so many times and I've never gotten tired of it. It's just, I could never get tired of it.
Can't argue against that. All right, Dustin.
All right. Eric, hi, welcome. Wildcats Revenge at Hershey Park. I, like Eric, did ride Wildcat the last year it was open. It wasn't my first time though. But I had to, savor it for nostalgic reasons, and was very happy when they announced that it was closing because I was really hopeful that we would get this roller coaster. Now this is the closest RMC to me. It does everything that Twisted Timbers does, but it has a better drop. So literally that's the defining piece for that. It's a little shorter, but it's a little more out of control. I think I love having the locker system. I'll be honest, just be able to put your stuff in and go. And this was the first coaster that I got to do a media day for, so it also holds a little extra nugget in my heart. So it's just absolutely amazing.
Glad to see that pick. My choice for number 6 is Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind. This, by the way, of the ones that we've done, 3 out of my 5 are rides that I've only ridden in the past year. So it's been a good year for me. Guardians of the Galaxy is more than anything just the best pure fun roller coaster I think I've ever ridden. It's one of those ones where you don't take any of the normal roller coaster mechanics into consideration, and you just think about the dumb grin that's on your face the entire time you're on this ride. It is fun personified. The blackout into the I shouldn't like spoil anything. The first big moment in the ride is done so perfectly, where it builds this little moment of anticipation that's probably only, if you counted it, 2 or 3 seconds long, and it feels like you're sitting there on the track for like 15 seconds. It's insane. And then whenever it happens, it's perfect. The music is incredible. If you look at this picture here that's on the screen, you can look at my wife's hair. They put the camera in a place that I don't know where it was, but it could not have been more perfect. Her hair is at a 90-degree angle from her body. And that's sort of the feeling that you get consistently throughout that entire ride. We did this first thing in the morning at rope drop, and then we had a whole day, and we enjoyed Epcot as adults do. And then we did it at the very end of the day. And getting both of those experiences of first thing in the morning and then after going around the world, it's the best way to start the day. It's the best way to end the day. It's just the most fun that you can have on a coaster. It's such a blast.
I agree. The camera, by the way, it's when you're going, I feel like it's okay. I mean, if you haven't seen a POV, or I don't think we can really spoil anything at this point.
I know. I didn't want to really drop the like big moment.
You had a couple spoiler options here.
Yeah. The big moment, you're going backward and you're kind of going to the left. I agree. The camera position, it took me like 5 rides to get used to it.
Both pictures are completely chaotic.
Yeah. What's your favorite song?
We got Everybody Wants to Rule the World and the Gloria Estefan. And Conga. I think I like Conga. And I think I liked, we did Everybody Wants to Rule the World for the night one, and we were very drunk, and that was like a great, because it's kind of mellow. So it's sort of, it lets you just settle back in your chair and enjoy it.
What are the other songs on it?
Oh, there's like 6 of them. We'll be talking about that later in probably the next run. But yeah, I don't want to. It's going to be making an appearance, I think, in the future. I'll just say that. Possibly. My 6 is Iron Gwazi. Fun fact: this photo was, I believe, when I went down and it wasn't open yet. And they only had the test seat. So I got to sit in the test seat before I actually got to ride, and I've since have ridden a few times at least. But I don't find RMCs to be super comfortable. This one, for whatever reason, is whatever the restraints are slightly different. It's fine for me. And it's, just a treasure to have down at Busch Gardens, Tampa Bay. So easily, well, I mean, they have a good coaster collection, but it's my favorite there. I never got on the original Gwazi, so I don't have that. Unfortunately,
you weren't missing much.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think part of why it ranks so high for me is because of my anticipation for actually riding it, and then just enjoying the moment when I was finally when I was finally able to ride. Actually, I think I tried to ride it twice, and the second time it was thunder. There was thunder in the area, so we had to evacuate the station. So it took me at least 3 visits to finally get on it. But once I did, greatly enjoy it. It doesn't feel as like bumpy as a lot of, like I mentioned earlier, I'm not a big wooden coaster fan. This doesn't feel like rough at all. It's got that grittiness that I like, but it's not like anything that will harm me. So it's re-rideable, and just a great ride at Busch Gardens. So I got to go back to ride it at some point. So I think that does it for tonight. And this is the complete ranking. But the top 5 so far, we got Millennium Force at the top with an 8 and a 6 pick. Wildcats Revenge at number 2. You can check my math later, but I believe that's right. And then we have the 3 6 seeds or 6 picks that we have. So this is the ranking going in to part 2, which we will resume in the future. Maybe in a week or 2, we'll figure out a date and post that on our socials, on Facebook, on YouTube, and we'll be resuming the 5-1 countdown. It's going to be hotly anticipated.
It's gonna be contentious. I have a feeling.
Yeah. I mean, this is our top 5 so far. I can't imagine.
Maybe some of the lower 5 will be in the upper 5.
Yeah.
I've definitely, I've seen a few of mine floating around up there already.
Oh man, any surprises tonight?
Darien Lake shout out always.
Yeah.
I was pretty happy to see Legend make it up in somebody's top 10. It's a great ride.
Yeah. Phoenix, I think, is a little surprising. It gets some. I think it's overrated, but it definitely does have some love to it. I just remember my first ride. My oldest was like 7, I think, and I just had to literally. I felt like I had to hold him into the into the train.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
the opposite of my father.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm excited that Greg picked Pantheon as well. That made me feel seen.
My fellow Pantheon lovers.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought about it too.
Is
They
there any
did.
theming?
No, there's none. They did send out it was supposed to, the station was supposed to be the Pantheon. That was the original plan.
You mean not a shed?
Yeah. I will say they did send out, because I might get kicked off the list, but they send out those surveys, and they did send out a survey that was asking about priorities for people, and one of them was added theming to Pantheon, and I put a 10 on that. 10.
Respect. I didn't get that survey. I did see that on Twitter or something. I wish I got that survey.
Yeah,
because I would have given it a 10 too. But yeah, I'll be back at Busch Gardens on Sunday for St. Patrick's Day. If y'all want to join me, if you can.
Nice. We are planning on going the week after. We're going to be there the weekend of the 20th.
Heck yeah! All right, I won't, but you'll see my video on the Park Rovers YouTube. So I think with that we'll wrap it up, and to be continued. It's going to be exciting to see where we end up in this little March Madness we got going on. And so like I said, we'll have the next live in a week or 2. We'll try to get it in March to complete the March Madness here. So thanks for watching. Thanks for watching the replay if you're catching up with us later. And we will see you next time. Bye, y'all.
Right.